everybody, and welcome. We have a returning guest, Jacob. So Jacob, so glad that you had another question and we're contemplating and we're willing to do it out loud so other people can learn. What are you thinking about?
First, thank you for having me again. It's always a pleasure. So my question or concern is it's actually kind of more of a story, but so I've played tennis my whole life, pretty much since I could walk. Might have been born with a racket in my hand. I'm not, that's up for debate or not. But so kind of playing as a kid for fun, and then seriously and competitively through high school, and then into college. Tennis became way more than just sort of winning and losing and hitting the ball and moving around. It was, it became a place where I dealt with a lot of emotions, and kind of it sort of became like synonymous with life almost, just because I was around it so much, and I put so much stock of my own identity and value in it.
Yeah.
So, I think I just kind of wanted to explore that a little bit, and I know that it's
Yeah, so I think athletics and hobbies and they grow in our life in meaning. And you just said that it's where I expressed emotion. What emotion did you express with tennis?
A lot of frustration, anger, sadness.
Did you ever throw your racket or like that kind of stuff?
More times than I'd like to admit.
So it was like a legal place to show anger and frustration when you miss a shot or whatever it is. So I'd ask you then, where was it not safe to express yourself that way?
I think in that question, it was safe for me at home or school, but I didn't feel safe in expressing myself. I don't think it was due to external things. I think it was, just for some reason I kind of developed the sense that it wasn't okay to express myself.
What would happen? Were you afraid of other people not liking you, or like what was it that would, because you're saying those environments were safe. I could have expressed my anger, I just didn't, right? And I'm not sure why. Well, if you did, then what would have happened in your mind?
In my, I think I was scared that people wouldn't like me, or they would, be put off by me expressing myself.
Well, what's really important here is, right, anger is not anger. Anger is a mask emotion. And so underneath it is either fear or hurt, right, or pain. And people who get angry are actually trying to protect themselves, right? So at some point in your life, there was like an experience you had where you felt hurt or afraid, right? And you couldn't really express it. So tell me how that relates to tennis, because it's being taken out on the court. And, did you ever have any pain around it or any fear?
Well, I think one thing that I've learned that's really interesting is kind of the connections between emotion and body, and sort of how emotions move through the body.
Yep.
And I think one of the biggest realizations is that emotions physically move through your body when you move it. And, I moved a lot playing tennis.
Yep.
In sports, and it's a movement-based activity. And I
Yeah.
think, in that I like maybe at one time I got mad and I, let out all the frustration, hurt, anger that had been built up, and there was no punishment for it because it was on the court. So in my mind, it was like tennis court equals safe place to let out all my emotions that I didn't feel were appropriate for my, day-to-day life.
Amazing. Because really what you're speaking about is a couple things. You didn't have to process them mentally. You didn't have to have conflict with somebody else. You could miss a shot, throw a racket, and it could be directed almost at you as you moved your body, got it out of you, cleaned it all up, and it was this safe space on X many feet by X many feet of a court that could absorb all of that emotion.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Jacob, I think it's pretty incredible. And I think for all of you watching to ask yourself, what emotions are okay to express and what emotions have you learned are not okay to express? And when you don't know how to process an emotion or you don't think it's okay to express it, where does it have an outlet? And if it doesn't have an outlet, after a while, it's going to show up in your physical body to get your attention. Pretty soon you'll find yourself up, anxious, worrying at night. You'll find yourself snapping at somebody who shouldn't have gotten snapped at, but they just happen to be in the wake of your unresolved emotions. So it can really damage relationships when you misplace where you feel something and discharge it onto somebody other than it belongs to, right? So Jacob, thank you so much for sharing your example. Tennis, such a benign thing, but wow, what a sacred place to absorb your anger until you learn how to process it yourself. And so now that you know how to do that, would you say that it's changed your relationship with tennis?
Oh, for sure. It's I've finally been able to enjoy tennis for just tennis, and the joy of moving my body and hitting the ball and competing and all the great things about it, and not feeling like I'm carrying around 50 100 pounds of emotional baggage every time yeah, it's nice, it's nice to only be carrying the racket and not anything else. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jacob. Thanks for talking to us and sharing your experience on the court.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Okay, bye.